And here we are. Yes, that's right. Another episode of Cardboard Conversations. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. As always, I'm Pat, joined tonight by Matt. How you doing, brother?
What up?
What up?
Shout out to Bob. He's dealing with some family issues, and he won't be here today. But hopefully, we'll be here next week. But in the meantime, you just got the two of us.
Just the two of us. Is that Bill
You and
Withers?
I
I'm
don't
going
know
to
who
not
that
try
is.
and sing that. I don't think anybody's going to enjoy it if I do.
I mean, you got a deep voice. You could definitely do it better than I could.
Just the
Um.
two of us.
So yeah,
Yeah, no,
actually, a pretty action-packed week as far as news goes.
oh, yeah. Dive right in. Start us off, Matt.
Yeah, we talked last week about the Monty Python Secret Lair and how we were all interested in getting some copies because we knew that it was going to be a pretty demanded thing. I didn't think it would be honestly as demanding as it was. But if you guys aren't familiar, it's sold out within an hour.
Yeah,
So,
pretty
and
crazy.
also they named it the stupidest thing.
Uh,
I
yeah.
just I didn't know what it was, or else I would have bought it because I was awake when it happened. When it went live, it was called the Elevator Drop Secret Lair. How the hell does
Yeah,
that sound like anything of Monty Python?
I had no idea what was going on when they were doing it. It was just a completely separate thing. It didn't seem like you were going in to do secret lair purchases. Um, I mean, like I'm showing on screen here, it was just the oddest display of it when you show up. It's just a bunch of buttons, like you're in an elevator. Um, and
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
get.
get me
Is there
wrong,
like
like
a? I don't. Monty Python had no elevators, right? It was like a medieval movie. Like I don't understand.
right. And I mean, don't get me wrong; they were always breaking the fourth wall and all that stuff. That's part of their
Yeah.
their shtick. But at the same time, like you had to scroll, more than halfway down the page before you'd start seeing these. And even then, it's got these giant numbers over the artwork itself. So there's like no reason. The whole
Yeah.
thing was just done quite poorly. And as you said already, it was sold out almost immediately. It was just so unattainable.
Yeah. I don't mind. Like an hour is like a decent amount of time. Like I don't mind that necessarily because like at the end of the day, if I'm if I'm ready and willing to buy something and I have an hour to buy it, that's reasonable, especially like during a time that's like a fairly like okay time.
Mm.
Especially since well, like in my opinion, Secret Lairs this is the route they should go. They should only be limited time for like a couple hours or an hour and like I don't know. I think you should still be limited on like how many you can buy, so that somebody just doesn't buy like 100,000 of them and like resells them at double the price
Mm.
or whatever. But if it's super available, then they're worth nothing, and everybody has them. If they're not available enough, then people get pissed off. They have to find like the right medium. I think an hour is fair. Honestly, I really do. As long as I mean, I did hear there was like a big queue, like a big line that you had like wait in a virtual
Yeah,
line.
yeah. I mean, the professor even talked about it, how he was waiting in queue online for it, and after an hour plus of waiting, he was still unable to actually purchase them.
See, that's the problem. I think if once you get in line, I think it
Yeah.
should be good. Um,
I mean,
like
realistically, I don't understand why there's a line. It should just be
it's for their
a
servers.
checkout.
They started doing that a while ago because they'll basically get DDoSed if they don't.
Oh,
They do
right,
that
yeah.
for almost every sale.
Yeah.
In case you guys aren't familiar what DDoS means, it's a denial of service attack. Dedicated denial of service attack, something like that. Basically
Digital
means
denial.
there's too many connections to the server. It can't handle that load, and then it'll like go down. Basically,
Yeah, it's one of the
um,
reasons why you gotta do all those damn reCAPTCHA things so that you can't like
yeah,
bot sites too easy.
yeah, it's fair. Like I said, I
I
don't
mean,
mind
for
it too
me
much.
personally, I would prefer it to be a notably longer time frame. I would like the 3 days. It comes out
No,
Friday,
that's way too
Saturday,
much.
Sunday. Um, I would like it to be more available. For sure. No matter what,
No.
you're paying into a premium. So if it's $29.99 for the 5 or 6 cards that you're going to get 4 to 6 cards, let's be honest. And at that rate, I mean, if you're paying $30 to get into it, it's difficult to ever have it lower than MSRP. So I think realistically, it's got that kind of price protection built into it, just as the nature of the item. And then to go along with that, I mean, I wanted these. I would have definitely paid market price for a single package of the Monty Python cards. I'm unable to. So it's
I
kind of
wonder if
biting
they're
them in their
on
own butt.
TCG Player yet.
Oh, even if they
Monty.
are, Wizards of the Coast isn't making any more money off of that.
Well, no, but
Unless
I'm
they
just
buy
curious
them.
if somebody's trying to like resell it at a super high price. $150. Yeah, for the normal one. They're normally $30.
Right. Yeah. So it's only,
And people have
500%
bought them
markup.
150, 149. They're actually buying them. There's a ton for there's actually a lot. There's some people that have bought it for $250. Feel sorry
Right.
for that guy.
And that's what I'm saying is like, even if Wizards of the Coast decided to make it $59.99 for the 5 cards, well, they certainly could have. And if they left it up for longer, they could have gotten more suckers in the, time frame. I think they're just leaving money on the table by having it be so limited, which I understand collectors want. Where's my Bob? Asks Benson, MTG, and Gaming. He is currently tending to some family needs. He's, a caring, dependable guy, and people lean on him for that. So he's out there taking care of fam.
He should be back next week as long as everything goes well.
Unlike me, I abandoned all those suckers.
I try to take care of my immediate family as much as possible. Unfortunately, I don't really have like a big connection against like outside except from like maybe my grandma. Like I don't really talk to anybody else, grandparents, cousins. I don't have a single cousin that I even talk to. So it sucks.
That's funny. So I'm closer to my cousin than anybody in my family, except maybe my father. We have a pretty tight relationship. We talk at least once a week, but for most of my family, it's just like I see him twice a year. I get a free meal each time. That's about what I'm looking for. Last time I hung out with my niece, we got to watch that Mona movie. Yeah, I like that one. It's got The Rock in it. They sing. It's great.
I don't know if I've ever seen that one.
Moana. And Benson, you got it spot on the nose right there. Monty Python, the F you can't have this edition, scalpers only. Yeah, and that's right there. That's exactly what we're talking about with this week's episode. Is such a limited product that the price just goes right up through the roof. And I think that that's one of the things Wizards has leaned on a lot for collector packs in specific. And now I think they're trying to dial it in with the Secret Lairs.
I'm looking at the Sheldon Spellbook Secret Lair and trying to see like if it went up or down since release. It's went from 80 to 50. I think it was either 29 or 39, and this is the one that was live for like a week. I actually think that's too long, but I like this one because this one was for obviously honoring Sheldon Menery, who, if you're not familiar with, is like basically the godfather, like the creator of Commander, the game we all play and love. And it was for cancer charity as well. I think they were going to give up to $250,000 to charity for it. So it was, a charity event situation where I think it's fair to have basically print a demand for that kind of product. I think that's fair. And I think it'll still hold plenty of value. I think it's still more valuable already if that's all you care about.
Yes,
and it's still affordable as well for people that actually, if they do want it right now, they can get about $55. I mean, you only get 4 cards, but that's the whole set, or 5 cards, something like that. You get Teferi's Protection, which is a good one. Who doesn't need some TP? That's exactly it. You can donate to cancer anytime, Benson. I think he means the fight against cancer, not specifically supporting, the disease itself. No, it's specifically that. So here's the thing. Okay. You could at any time support cancer and donate, sure. But why not also get some magic cards as well? Like, we're not losing any money for doing it. Only Wizards of the Coast is losing money. Fuck corporations. They can pay all the money. I don't care. I'd rather support a charity cause and get Magic the Gathering cards.
Oh, coach, that sounds pretty solid. He believes it was a minimum $250,000 donation, or 50% of sales total if over that 250K. If that's how it shook out, I'm pretty cool with that. And realistically, I prefer Sheldon Menery's face on a bunch of, different pieces of artwork. I like that more than like the kids' doodle drawings. I
Oh, that
thought
was
that was just,
horrible.
yeah. I don't get me wrong. I hate kids. Anybody who knows me knows that I really dislike
Yeah.
children. So
Yeah.
that did nothing for me. And then they went ahead and actually like made those cards into real cards. It was just like,
Still pretty bad.
yeah, what up, time capsule? Hey, there you go. Made me smile. I had to
There
stop
you
thinking
go.
about kids, freaking children. Urgh, angry Pat, get off my
Get off
lawn.
my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Although I did have a kid come up to me yesterday, as I was helping my sister put in her dash cam, which only
Oh,
took like 10 minutes. I love it. So it's such an easy install. You just pull out the panels, the side curtain panels. But anyways, it was like a kid, probably maybe 8 or 10 years old. And he came up to me. He's like, "Hey, can I check out your car?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, dude, go for it." Walk around looking at it. I've got a 2016 370Z, a Nissan 370Z. So my sister's like, "Is that like a common thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, a lot of people like the car. It's a fairly iconic car. If you've ever watched Tokyo Drift, it's the main guy that the Japanese guy drifts with. The main, like, we'll call him the evil guy. Um, and then it's also in like a bunch of other movies. A really good car. I love it. And I just got a new bumper put on it because the bumper that I bought it with, they used some like aftermarket trash ass bumper, and it was bugging the hell out of me how bad it was. So eventually, I was just like, I gotta get a good bumper for this thing. So I got it painted from a shop.
Oh, nice.
I gotta have it repainted because, long story short, I wanted the guy to paint it. He said he would paint it. Um, he called and asked me if I wanted it painted the way that it was supposed to be painted, or if I wanted it painted all white. It's supposed to be white everywhere on the outside, and then the grill is supposed to be painted black, or the grill like cover. It's not actual. It's basically the grill of the car, and it looks really good that way because it's like a nice contrast, black and white, nice yin and yang, and it like really makes the bumper look really really good. And then I'm like, well, I'd like it to have it painted the way it's designed to be painted. He's like, well, it's really difficult, to mask off that black part and then paint it all black and not mess up the white. And I was like, well, if I'd even paid extra, like I don't care, like I want it done that way. And then I go to pick up the bumper when he said it was done, and it was all white. And he's like, yeah, it's just really difficult, blah blah blah. And I'm like, but so I felt like I was kind of like settling. So I left a bad review, and then he called me. He's like, "Dude," he's like, "you should have just told me that you really, really wanted it that way." I'm like, "Motherfucker, I said that
I
twice."
did a number of times. That was,
But they're gonna.
yeah.
But he's like, "Just bring it back up Monday. We'll fix it." I'm like, "All right." He's like, "I want my 5-star review," because like it's one of those businesses where like, or even like products, you look at it, they have like really good reviews, and you're like, you probably paid for these. But I would say that this guy probably didn't, considering that like he went out of his way to call me, and like he's like, no, 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 no. What can we do to make it right? Like, well, you gotta really, it should be a 4-star review because like I shouldn't have to go through all of this. But I gave him a 5-star review because he's willing to make it right and not pay me and not charge me extra. I even offered to pay extra.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is it. Just take my money. It should be that simple as far as
Yeah,
businesses go. I mean, one of the simplest transactions we have at my job is literally just take money. If someone, it's so simple that
yeah.
it throws people off. Yeah.
You pay
So just
money
tell
for
the
a
computer
service.
you're
It's very
taking
simple.
money. Yeah. Don't do anything. Just take money.
I
Dollar,
have
dollar bill,
a
yeah.
yeah. In the review, I even like said all of this, and I was just like, I don't understand. Like, it is not something they normally do. They don't normally just take stuff like they're an auto body shop, and they do the work obviously, but they mostly deal with collision repair. So like they're not dealing with like custom work like this is. Not many people walk in there with a bumper and go, "Can you paint it?" But when I called him, he said he would do it. So okay, he quoted me $300. That's a fucking steal, honestly. $300 is a really good deal for painting an entire bumper.
Yeah, I mean the
And
Mako BS stuff from the '90s has gone away. It ain't $500 no more.
Yeah, this is like like it was a fresh new bumper. There was no paint on it, so they don't have to do any work on it. They just have to paint it, boom, right away. Prime it, paint it, done, and clear coat. So when he quoted 300 and when he called me and told me that it would be more difficult, I understood that it's not their normal work and that because it's more difficult, I might have to pay more. So then I offered. I'm like, if it's more difficult, I'll pay more money. I just want it done right. I want it done the way that I want it done. So then when he didn't do it, I got defeated, I guess. I should have stuck my foot down and be like, no, dude, pay me black, dude. What the fuck? I'm willing to pay you more money. Like, don't take my money. Like, it's so weird to me. I want you to perform a service, and I want to give you money for said service. Why don't you want to do it? It doesn't look that hard. Like, I can try to. Actually, you know what? I'll pull up my review because like it has like a side by side comparison, and I think everybody will understand that like it needs to be black.
Hey, at least this time we didn't go off the rails talking about the robot apocalypse. We're just not there yet, Colin. Keep waiting.
We're almost there.
So speaking of Secret Lairs, while we're still tangentially close to it, Baldur's Gate is going to be doing a Secret Lair. Now, what I think is interesting is none of them are new cards. It's just better artwork. So it's just going to be Adventures in Forgotten Realms, Baldur's Gate. So it's going to be a bunch of pretty bad cards. But now that the game by Larian Studios has blown up so much, they're actually going to be doing a Secret Lair that's probably going to sell right out in no time. I believe it's for Dungeons and Dragons 50th anniversary is coming up pretty soon.
Yes.
So there's going to be
so good.
A big celebration there.
That one will 100% sell out in less than an hour. You better be in line as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to sell out so fast.
Yeah, that one's definitely a good speculation in my eyes. I'm thinking about that one.
Let me double check that. I'm not like.
I just don't know if I'd want to be stuck with the cards. You know, that's something Bob's always had in the back of my mind. There is never buy a product that you wouldn't want to have on your shelf.
All right. So on the right hand side is my car. Ignore the bumper being like falling off on the right hand side. I've since fixed that. I needed like a piece and I needed to order for a little like it's like a little like plastic insert that sticks into the fender that when you get into an accident, instead of the bolt ripping the fender off, if the bumper comes off, it pulls that out of the fender instead of ripping the fender off, which is pretty cool. Anyways, I fixed that. But yeah, so on the left is supposed to be that black, and then they have like the red inserts. But on the right, you see how like it's so boring. Mine currently looks so boring compared to the one on the left, right? I'm right.
I agree that the black grill under the bottom there definitely looks better.
Yeah. So that's how I wanted it painted, and this is how they painted
it.
But
pink in the front.
Huh?
Like instead of red, like that little bit of color highlight, it's almost pink on yours.
Well, those are plastic trim pieces. So like I can take those off. But they're red. It's just the light. The way that I took the picture is just the light. In person, it looks completely red.
You didn't want to pick me up in that one when we were in Indianapolis, huh?
No, because we would have had no fucking room in the bump in the. There's not enough storage for our luggage. I thought about driving it. I love driving that car.
Yeah,
also,
I'm just bullshitting you.
The cruise control doesn't work.
Yeah.
And driving like 4 hours or whatever it was without cruise control would kind of
suck. Dog. I drove from Connecticut to Wyoming and back in a car that had no radio or cruise control, and it was a stick shift. That was a heck of a journey.
I love stick shift.
It wasn't bad, realistically, because once you're on the highway, you get into fifth, and
you're just cruising.
Yeah. It was a fun trip. I absolutely loved working in Yellowstone. That was a great summer.
But yeah, Baldur's Gate Secret Lair, highly recommend setting your calendar, signing up for their email listings, and I guess just kind of keep a check on every single email they send about Secret Lairs, because you'll never know what it's going to be called. Yeah. It could be called the Fuzzy Friends of Fantasticness, and you'll be like, what the hell Secret Lair is that? Oh, Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, right. And it's going to have some dumb theme over the top of it, so just be very aware when you're on their website, you know.
Yeah. I'm curious why they decided to do the Monty Python Secret Lair super drop with. Why are they doing super drops? Why aren't they just doing one at a time to keep consistent
Mm.
like flow. Like, why do all of it at once? It just seems super strange to me.
It would make more sense if it was just always something available. Whenever you go to Secret Lair, there's just something going on, but instead it's too much all at once.
It would also make the lines. It would also make the rush less rushy because, like, not everybody is going for the Secret Lair for Monty Python. I'm sure some people wanted the Bloomburrow. A lot of those are sold out too.
Well, speaking of Bloomburrow, that's actually next on our bullet points here. That's right.
Yeah.
We're leveling up behind the scenes. We've got talking topics tonight. We got points to hit. And
We
our
used
next
to do
one
that,
is
but then we just got lazy and just started just coming on and just chatting our faces off. But I like a little bit more of a tighter podcast, so we're gonna try to give that to you.
And yeah, Bloomburrow. Speaking of the Bloomburrow Secret Lairs, the sealed products as well are doing particularly well. I gotta say, I was surprised the collector boxes have actually gone up just a hair. Same thing with the play booster boxes. What are you thinking about that, Matt? Are you as surprised as I am that a standard release has stayed as stable as it has?
No, not this. This one is pretty damn good. Like, pre-release was really fun. Opening the collector box was pretty fun. Even though I will say, so I tried something new. So in the next like couple weeks, you guys will see. I opened a collector box of Bloomburrow, and instead of doing it all in one video, those videos don't seem to do very well. But what people might like is like a daily pack opening type situation. So I did shorts of them instead. So I opened one pack at a time. There was one that I went over the minute, and it was like a minute and 2 seconds for the short.
Oh, no.
It really pissed me off, so I have to edit that down. Like, I have to like remove something to make it a minute.
But just speed it up instead of, just have the whole video at 1.05.
Put it at like 1 point, put it like a little bit faster.
Yeah. Or just one section, like when you're opening the pack, just have that at like 3 times speed.
That was the problem. They're so hard to open. There was a couple of the shorts that were like a lot of it wasted just opening packs.
Yeah.
But one thing that I didn't get to do is I didn't really get to like pay attention to what I opened doing it that way.
You're
So I don't.
Rushing.
Yeah, because you're kind of rushing. You have a minute to open a pack, and that's about what I normally open them at like a minute a pack. But when it's like a brand new set and I want to like actually enjoy it, it definitely makes it a bit harder to do as a short. But I did pull some okay cards. I think my box was pretty bad considering I got no anime raised borderless foils at all. So I got none of the special versions. I did get some three tree cities, and those seem to be holding strong at like $30 to $37. So
interesting question. We got Matt from Earth. Are you related to Tyson Fury? Philosophically, I think everybody's related in some way. Like, we're all humans, so we come back to like a very few creatures, whether it's biblical or evolutionary. I think we're all related in some weird way. So, yes.
Well, I know he's a boxer, but
I have no idea where that's coming from.
Which person are you asking? Is it me or is it Pat? I actually don't know.
I have no idea what he looks like. I don't even know if that's a white dude or not.
He's a white dude. Yeah, I pulled him up. I know I've watched him before. He's a British boxer.
Oh,
but I guess me, maybe. I think it looks more like me than you, but I actually don't know.
Yeah, he don't look like me. I don't think he looks like either of us.
Yeah, well, that's what I said more like. I'm not saying I look like him.
Dang it, man! You threw us off the tracks. So we were talking about Bloomburrow, and the Three Tree City has definitely stayed very solidly stable. I was playtesting a deck earlier while I was bored at work, and yeah, for sure, Three Tree City, it does work. This is a good card.
Yeah. You two fight it out, and we'll decide which one he's talking about. Well, I mean, I think we're done fighting about it. I played a commander. I built a commander of somebody that it's funny. When I was building this deck, and I'm going to do a deck tech on it, so you guys are going to get a little bit of a sneak peek about this card. And I've played it. I played it a couple times, and I won every game so far. and it's a banger of a card. And I knew that it would be good technically because of like
Oh,
what it is,
you got me on the edge of my seat. What is it?
but
What
at the
is it?
same time, I was just like, it's not going to be as good as Animar, so clearly it's not going to be very good.
Yeah.
But it turns out I actually think it might be potentially stronger than Animar. Let me
It's that wolf,
share
right? Yeah. It's got yeah.
this one. Allow. So this one here, Wild Seer Scouring Maw. So it's a 5-mana 6/6 with trample, and it has enchantment spells you cast from your hand have Cascade. Which it sounds semi innocent when you like are just thinking about it. You're like, okay, Cascade can be strong. You can like casting spells for free is strong. Um, I'll put it this way: my play group. We all build good decks. We're all good players. But the fact that this was able to win 2 times very easily, I'm not even without the commander, because enchantments are just so fucking busted. Nobody runs enough removal to deal with 17 enchantments. You just can't.
Yeah, bro. I
That's the thing.
100%. I feel that. As Kaikar is one of my favorite decks to pilot, and it is very enchantment heavy. And that's one of the things I've come to realize is time after time. Yeah, people peck off maybe 2 or 3, but if you've got like 10, 20 different enchantments all out there doing some amount of work, people are
Yeah.
just unable to deal with it unless they hit up like a farewell or something like that. And even
Yeah,
then,
yeah. If you got mass removal, but like it's not very often that happens. Now
no.
there's a good chance that might go into their decks now.
Mm,
I think people should. If you're in white, you should probably play farewell. The modality mode of, is that a word, modality? That sounds
yeah.
probably fine. The modality of the card is so flexible and so just universal that it should be in the deck if you're playing white. Um,
I
it
think
doesn't.
the modular nature of Spree is exactly why that did so well in Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and all of the commands
True.
as well. Being able to pick and choose, it is phenomenal. And even in this set, there's a couple of cards where
Seasons.
you get like 5 cat paws worth of
Yeah. Yeah, they're called
juice or
seasons.
whatever. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's kind of a dumb setup, but I like what they're doing there. It's like a new take on energy.
I got to play the red season in my pre-release, and that is so much stronger in play than it reads. Basically, it's 5 mana as a sorcery. You can pay 1 paw to get a tapped treasure. You can use 2 paws to get. Look at the top. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. You can play them until the end of your next turn, and then the last ability is for 3 paws. You can until the end of your next turn. Every spell you cast shocks target player or creature until the end
Oh,
of your next turn. So you have 2 turns to like
that's solid.
do all kinds of crazy crap. And what's really strange, I don't know how often this happens. It has a delayed trigger of the card, so that the card, the season of, I think it's called season of the bold. It's the red season, whatever it's called. That is the thing that does the damage from the 2 damage whenever you cast a spell. So it's like as it's in the graveyard, it's like pinging everything for 2 whenever you cast a spell. It's very weird. They're called delayed triggers. I get it, but like it's just not very often that you have a card that doesn't just immediately do something. It just like kind of just happens for the next two turns, or the current turn and the next turn. It just like does stuff from the graveyard. Even if they exile, it doesn't matter. It still does the damage. It's weird.
Just trying to find a card I was looking at earlier.
But yeah, because
This
it's
is
2 turns, it's super strong.
mm,
It's actually, I probably really should put it in the red decks that I play. It's that strong.
I was
A
scoping
lot of
at it.
times in the whatchamacallit, in the pre-release, I was doing exile the top 4 and then get a tapped treasure, because I think you could probably hit 2 land drops from it. You could probably play 2 spells. The flexibility 5 mana for in that in red. Look at 4 cards. It's pretty good.
I was looking around on MTG stocks and saw that Duskmorn started having a couple of cards that were coming up, And this one definitely caught my eye right away.
Cursed
Cursed
Recording. I've seen this one.
Recording. Yeah, for 2 and 2 red artifact, similar to enchantments, they stick around a whole lot. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, put a time counter on this card. If there are 7 or more time counters, remove them, and it does 20 damage to you. Also, as at the bottom, tap. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery this turn, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. I mean, that's just bangers right there. This seems like it's going to be real fun.
Yeah, I actually saw this too. It was in one of the pre-releases, and I was trying to think if you're playing in like a black-red deck, you could definitely do some shenanigans with this.
Well,
There's a
realistically,
few
if you have
different.
Aetherflux Reservoir out in the battlefield and you're just out there copying and slinging spells, I think very quickly you're going to be healing back enough that you could just always deal with this.
Well, sure, but there's even like Vampire Hexmage. Was it sacrifice it and then remove all counters from target permanent? So like you get the 6 counters,
Yeah,
and
there
then
you
you
go.
just sacrifice it, remove all the counters, and then you can cast another 6 spells without having the damage. If you want to try to find a way to get around that. If there's decks that already do the thing where they're like trying to remove counters from permanents to get a benefit, this auto slots in those decks. And then also, if there's decks that want to damage themselves to get themselves low to do something like shenaniganry, because there's a couple black cards that's like switch your life total with target player, so you can like ping yourself down real low, swap life totals, and then like finish them off with something.
Right.
I know that my buddy has that. He has Beladros, I think it's one of the Dungeons and Dragons or no, it's from Strix, one of the Strix dragons.
Strixhaven, yeah.
So he's the Golgari guy that you can pay 10 life to untap all your lands once per turn. So that's what he did. He kind of started adding that. He's like adjusted the deck a little bit where now he like tries to burn his life total down as fast as possible. And he's got a couple life swappers, so he can just refuel his life total, but then also simultaneously swap life totals and even do all that shit. Especially because like normally those spells cost a lot of mana. And the fact that you're untapping all your lands gives you a lot of mana. It actually works out perfectly. It's very smart.
Woo, man! Triple sneeze right there. Good stuff.
Another thing I learned while playing Wild Seer is that Nyx Bloom Ancient is busted.
What makes you say that, Matt?
Because it says if you tap a permanent for mana, it produces 3 times as much mana of that mana instead.
I mean, yes, I know that it's a broken card. I'm just wondering what makes you say it now.
I've never played with it because it's a 7-drop, and typically like it's like so far out of like the cast. Okay, so it triples all your mana, but you have to play it, have more mana to take advantage of it, and if you can't take advantage of it, then you have to like wait an entire turn of go around, and it's gonna get killed. There's 3 other players. The odds of it surviving are so low. However, when you're playing in Golgari or anything green, probably you ramp so hard that like I don't know both times. Also, not even the ramping of the hard. There's so much threat that this deck provides that by the time you get to Nyx Bloom Ancient, they've already used all their threat killing things. They'd have to like specifically not kill the cards that they need to kill to have the removal for Nyx Bloom Ancient. Then you get to Nyx Bloom Ancient, and then you're like, oh. Then they can remove it, but you've got so much. I don't know. It's the deck's wild. I actually think it might be one of my favorite decks. It's like top 3 right now.
I'm just thinking Nyx Bloom Ancient. Is it just yours or everybody's mana?
It's just yours.
Yeah, if you tap a permanent.
It says if you tap mana.
Yep. Well, there are a couple of green cards where like everybody gets anytime a land is tapped for mana, add 1 extra and everybody shares in that benefit. And we always love
like
that.
Commander Raids.
So this is another card. This is from Duskmourn Commander, and we're definitely missing some like key information, aka what in the hell is a scheme?
No. So this is for Arch Enemy.
Okay.
So Arch Enemy, if you're not familiar with the format, one player plays as the Arch Enemy, and they have like a special rule set. They get these schemes. They're able to add. They're able to like they have like a scheme deck, and you can build your scheme deck however you want. There's a bunch of scheme cards already. They're basically building onto the arch enemy style, which I actually really
Okay.
like it. So think Commander raids, but instead of that being like completely random, it's a player one versus everybody else.
Hmm.
It's wild. The amount of benefits you get, obviously, as you're looking at this. Um, this is free, by the way. It's just a free thing, and I don't even know if it can be countered.
Yeah, since it's a scheme, it's not a
It's not like a
spell. It's
spell.
not
Yeah, I'm
an
not entirely sure
ability.
how schemes
Yeah,
work.
seems like it
I,
stays separate.
yeah, I've played Arch Enemy a few times, but not enough to know exactly how schemes work.
Yeah, it looks interesting, to say the very least.
Yeah, I've liked Arch Enemy quite a lot. It's just one of those things where you only have so much time to play this damn game, and at a certain point, normal commander for me is the funnest. But I do enjoy. If I had a bunch of time, if I could play like a ton, eventually I would get to the point where I would want to play something else.
Hmm. Yeah, I enjoy the heck out of Commander. I don't play near as much as I used to when we were, originally first designing Commander raids. It was a couple of times a week, multiple games per night. And
Yeah.
now it's definitely toned down a lot. And our pod is down to 3 people. So we're still trying to figure out a fourth to get in and enjoy some games with us. It's
Yeah, I
difficult.
wish I could play more, to be honest. Like my pod comes over at like 6 p.m. and then like we're eating. Typically people like eat dinner around that time, so they bring Chipotle or whatever. I'm like waking up at that time and they're like making food, so we don't really get to play typically until around 7. And then my one buddy leaves at like 9:30, so we only can really get like 2 games in per night. And I'm just like 2 games a week is not enough for me. Like I want like more.
Yeah, when we play, it's 4 to 6 hours. That's a good gaming session for
Yeah,
sure.
that's what I would like. I would like 4 to 6 hours. You get like hopefully about 4 games in, 5 games, and then that's like enough to play like all your favorite decks a couple times. Hopefully,
Mm.
I got a lot of decks. I really need to do. I'm gonna do a member only video on the way I store my commander decks, and then it'll turn into a non-member only, just so people have like an exclusivity. I think it's a very cool. I don't think it's talked about too much in this. Like I know that I've seen it around, but I feel like it should be advertised more. It's such a cool way to store your commanders. It feels like it's made for it, but it's not. It's like a secondary thing that people just found the purpose for it.
We'll have to
So
check it out.
yeah, it is
It
a
looks
very
like a lot of
cool.
games. Yeah, Matt, you do have a lot of cool stuff in your background there.
Yeah, I've got some DDR. I've got some Magic the Gathering stuff. There's what else is there? There's some Dungeons and Dragons books there in between the two. I need to find a better way to display them, but there's some D&D books. They're the first edition D&D books. I got my gun bag on to the left of my DDR pad. I do not do any collections of Hot Wheels. I did when I was younger. I think probably we all did. But I grew out of that. Same thing with like Legos. Like I used to love Legos. I used to build tons of Legos, but
Man, my
I don't.
cousin's super into that stuff.
I think my ADD brain prevents me from enjoying it. Maybe I could be wrong or maybe the creativity part of my brain is not very strong. I'll tell you that. As far as like being able to create, I can like follow a blueprint. That's easy and whatnot. But like if I'm just like sitting there in front of like a big pile of Legos, I don't have a mind's eye. If you're not familiar with that, there's something called antiphasia, something like that. There's some kind of thing where like if you don't have a mind's eye, like I can't picture anything in my head. It's just black. There's nothing. I can't create an image of anything in my head. So I can't like think of something to build. I'd have to like look at something to build, and that's just kind of less fun.
Yeah, I'm not terribly creative in that same sense. When it comes to Lego stuff like that, even when I play Minecraft, other building games, it can be quite difficult for me to have that like creative touch. But it definitely, like you were saying, when you have a more constructed kind of playtime, that's one of the things that's definitely kept me coming back to the game Satisfactory so much, is that it's not so much about personalization or customizing everything. It's just just kind of a building game.
Oh, I don't do Roblox, unfortunately.
Yeah, same thing. Unfortunately, not a Roblocker.
I don't even. I to be completely honest, I don't even know what Roblox is 100%.
It's kind of like Minecraft, except people are able to build things like code system sort of stuff. So there are a lot of like mini games. It's a lot more open source.
It looks
So
Lego-ish. Is it
yeah,
built by Lego?
I don't believe it is now.
Like the characters look like Legos.
I totally get what you mean. Yeah, there's like a plasticine look to it.
No, I mean they look exactly like Lego. They have like the square head, the square arms, like the square body, just like
Yeah,
the
no,
old Lego
I'm with
characters used
you.
to look like. It has to be Lego. Roblox is an online game. Who makes this? Roblox Corporation. So it's just Roblox.
It's just called Roblox.
Well, they can't call it Lego Blocks, I guess, because that's
That's a good
copyrighted.
point. Yeah. That's how you get sued. That's why Pal World's not just called Pokemon with guns.
Yeah, I've never been. My type of my type of jam is like Path of Exile, Diablo, action RPGs. I like Valheim and
Oh,
games like that. Ark Survival Evolved is another good one.
we have
I'm a
such similar
graphics
tastes
I'm a
in
graphics
games,
snob.
except Valheim. I don't understand how that could be like. I don't understand why it's so popular. It looks like it hasn't loaded whenever I play the game. Like it's just.
It's so good.
Don't get me
Maybe you
wrong.
need to play it with your new graphics card. Maybe it's your graphics card was shit before. Because
It
I
was.
promise you, it
It
looks so
was.
much better than what you're claiming. So I feel like either your eyes deceive you,
It-
or
I'm just not
um,
seeing the real world when I load it.
yeah, you're just not
I'll do
seeing it.
screen recording. I just to make sure, like that I'm not seeing something like. Yeah,
I'm not
by
saying
the
the
way,
game looks
I also
insane.
figured
I'm
out how
not
to do.
saying
Figured out the 4K 60 frames a second screen recording stuff.
yeah,
So yeah, definitely gonna have some tasty videos. Hopefully,
nice.
it
Yeah,
probably
listen,
is.
listen. I'm not saying the Valheim looks insane. There's a reason why I install 4K texture packs to make it look good. What I am saying is that it looks better than Minecraft. So just by that extension, it's already better than
It
Minecraft.
looks more realistic than Minecraft.
Yeah,
To
I
say
don't like.
it
I
looks
hate the way
better
it
is
looks.
definitely a preference. That's an opinion piece right there. I mean, Terraria, I in both ways think it's one a bit more realistic looking than Minecraft, even though it's a 2D world. But on top of that, I also think it's a prettier game. Terraria is freaking gorgeous. What up, Dual Brain? We got a handsome fella in the world here.
What's up, Dual Brain? Did you get any of the Monty Python Secret Lairs, or did you also get screwed?
Let me guess, you didn't get anybody because nobody got any.
I mean, so here's the thing. My previous stance on it is slightly changed because of the whole waiting in line and you couldn't get anything. I feel like if you get in line and you're waiting in line, you should have been able to order it. You shouldn't be able to like wait in line and then by the end of it you go, oh, they're sold out. I feel
Yeah,
like they should have only let enough people in line or in queue when with the amount of product they had available. So that if they have 10,000 product, they have 10,000 in line, and then like somebody drops out of the line, then it opens back up. But like instead, it seemed that what they allowed, they were just like everybody can get in, and then when you finally, well, okay, so here's the thing, you can't do that because there'd have to be a line. No, there'd have to be a line for every product. That's the thing. They released them all at once like idiots, and that's the problem. So like not only did you have to wait in line for Bloomberg crap, you had to wait in line for I'm not saying it's crap, I'm just saying like things. Not only did you have to wait for a Bloomberg product, you also had to wait for Monty Python, you also had to wait for whatever else is in the secret super drop. The super drop is stupid. Change my mind.
I also feel as though it should have been done piecemeal and to have a separation in the way that people were purchasing product would have definitely done them better. Like it was poorly orchestrated, and I think that's why so many people are unhappy about it. It was a very sought after item, and for some reason this one they chose to have in a limited quantity, and the available window because of the limited quantity was so short. I'm hearing reports of between 1 and 2 hours, and that includes an hour wait time. So like it, and then to not be able to get your product, at least if you wait for an hour to get into Disney, you get to go get splashed on the mountain later. But to wait an hour and then not get anything feels like you're at the DMV, and man, I hate that place.
I actually have to go and I've got to do a emissions test. I don't know. Do you guys have emissions tests in Vermont?
We do inspections, which is emissions, and then they look at the physical state of your car to make sure that there are no like exposed metal or rust, and that it physically looks decent enough. Which is weird because most people think of Vermont as like a hick state, but yeah, you can't have hoopties up here.
Well,
And
so my Nissan, my 2016, it failed last year's emissions because I have it modified, and they don't like that.
yeah,
They don't like that the CPU, the computer of the car is modified. So I have to
yeah,
unmodify it, and then I have to wait until all the sensors. There's like a time where they have to like the sensors like learn,
yeah.
like the air fuel mixture and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So there's like a cycle that you have to go through. Anytime you
I think
switch it
it's like
off of that,
500 miles or something.
yeah, it's stupid. You have to drive
Yeah.
around for hours. It's actually the system is so stupid. My car runs fine. Leave me alone.
Mm.
I remember back in the day they used to like do the emissions testing where you just like drive on the rollers. Just do that. You can test my car. It's not producing any more
Yeah.
emissions than
And some
not.
states don't do emissions testing in general, like you would
Yeah.
ask.
Actually, some
Texas
parts of
actually just
Ohio
got rid
don't
of
do
it.
it.
Yeah,
Only
Texas.
Cuyahoga County does it.
Yeah, and I think Tennessee, Kentucky, most southern states don't do emissions testing at this point. I don't
What
know
I
if that's
should
directly
do,
correlated to
I
anything.
should buy a house outside of Cuyahoga County, register my car to that house so I don't have to get emissions testing, and then I can just have that house just, I don't know, rot. I just buy a property that has no house on it. Just like spend like $8K. Just don't have to
No,
do the
just
stupid
sublet.
emissions
Just
testing.
rent it out to somebody.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that I could like register my car to a house that I'm renting out.
Why
I
not?
feel
As
like
long
that.
as you can receive mail there.
Well, yeah, I feel like there might be a rule against that.
Yeah, there probably is. That's why we're trying to do this, Matt. It's the whole point. Welcome to this week's episode of How to Mess with the DMV.
Yeah.
So speaking of being messed with, Flesh and Blood. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not messing with it at all. I enjoy the gameplay well enough. I find it very adversarial though. It's heads up gameplay, one-on-one. And their multiplayer format, the pit fighter stuff, I just do not find enjoyable. It was clearly not designed. The game was not designed with that in mind. And retroactively going back and designing some more cards so that it does kind of play out better doesn't seem to have worked. I know that there was always some scuttlebutt about multiplayer PvE, and since that's never come to fruition, it's just kind of disappointing. There was so much hype for Flesh and Blood, and now we're seeing it just stable but unexciting. There's still active gameplay, there's tournaments and whatnot, but there's no big moves. What are you thinking about Flesh and Blood lately, or are you?
I haven't thought about it or played it at all in the last like year or two. I went pretty hard on it when it first came out. I played with the friends a couple times. Problem is that, like you said, it's 1v1, and I have a group of friends. I don't just have one friend. Secondary problem is there is a multiplayer format, but it kind of sucks. Thirdary problem is that they talked about this PvE format where like everybody could all play their own decks against like some kind of like dungeon delving situation, and then never did anything about it, and still hasn't said anything about it to my knowledge. So they're just like kind of like moving on with the game and just not doing anything that I want them to do. Like, I think the game is good, and I think that 1v1 is fine. And like, if I had more time, and if I wasn't playing Path of Exile 16 hours a day, if I wasn't playing Commander, like, you know, then I would play it more. But like, I don't really have a friend that's like pushing me to play Flesh and Blood. I don't have anybody in my life that is like, hey, you want to play Flesh and Blood? So like, I have nobody. I don't know. It's just I have nobody to help me care for it, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Although I'm looking at I'm looking at the new card that's coming out called Verdan's Thorn of the Rose, and I'm more interested now.
Getting the bug, huh?
Not necessarily for the card, but the art is pretty nice.
Oh, yes, I see what you mean.
I'm a big fan of redheads, so
Can't say I'd turn it down.
It looks good though. It's a good looking card. It kind of reminds me of Ivy from Poison Ivy.
Oh, from the Batman series.
From the Batmans.
The Batmans.
This one, allow. Boom. There it is. That's a good looking. I gotta move it over here, else it's blown out. That's a good looking card.
I mean, so my problem with some of the Flesh and Blood Marvels, which this is probably one of, doesn't have enough words on it to like tell me what it does. And that's like really important.
Well, I can tell you it's an elemental wizard hero. That's about all I know.
Yeah, for sure. I can also tell you she's probably got some nasty feet walking around the forest like that all day. Like that's.
Well, here's the thing. So one of the cool things about the Marvels is that on the you can flip the card over, and on the other side is the actual card itself.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't know what she does. If there are 8 or more Earth cards in your banish zone, Verdance gets whenever you gain H. What the fuck is H? Whenever you gain H during your turn, you may deal 1 arcane damage to any opposing target. What is H?
It's probably a representation of a symbol.
It is, but like what? I don't know what the symbol is. The symbol must be like something new. Yeah, the symbol must be something new. Essence of
probably
Earth.
Energy or whatever.
You may have Earth cards in your deck. Oh, so they're doing like the commander thing where like... Wait, is that normal?
What you talk about?
There's a thing on her that says Essence of Earth. You may have Earth cards in your deck. Does the hero normally dictate the no, you can just play whatever the hell card you want. There's nothing normally that dictates what cards you can play in a
the equipment.
In a Flesh and Blood deck. No, but this has cards in your deck.
Yeah, there's like some building restrictions. I'm pretty sure to Flesh and Blood that have to pertain to like who your hero is.
I didn't think there was.
I think that's like
not like that. I feel like this is new.
I don't. Like my peripheral knowledge of Flesh and Blood, I believed that was one of the core components in how you like made a deck, was that it all had to be of a certain hero type, you know, elementalist, rock. Yeah, there were like all sorts of different kinds.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at the chat here again. What up, Solar God? One of the emojis that they used was a pure MTG logo.
we still got that old. I mean, we gotta keep it. You know, it's the roots, right?
Yeah, right. We should make that to only like channel members, like 6 months or
I think it is only. I think the only channel members can use the emotes.
Yeah.
That's what they're called, right? Emotes.
Emojicons.
Emojis.
Yeah, they're emotes.
Big true.
So I'm gonna spam the
chat. One of these days I'll like make a it actually should probably do that. I could make the logo that I have, the Cardboard Odysseys logo. I could make that an emote. I have to think. I have to feel like I have to think. I have to check. Jesus, talking is hard, when we do this for a bit kind of not a living, but like
actually these videos make no money.
Well, they make pennies. That's
literally
nice.
Pennies. The first one was 2 zeros and then a 1 and then a 3. So it was like 13 10 thousandths of a dollar.
Insane.
I was like, that it was hard for my brain to figure out that small of a number and express it out loud.
Trying to like, I don't even remember where to put the emotes. Where
I
are the
think it's
emotes?
under one of the last pages.
Branding, basic. Is it under branding?
Yes,
No.
exactly, Solar God. And don't forget to like and join. If you want to get some extra content, we do some members only videos, and a lot of our Let's Play series are always members first. So you get to see those up to a day early. That's something I've personally been doing. Got 13 of those in a row, members first videos. And
Hell
honestly,
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out like the next gameplay series I want to get into. I'm kind of at a stalling point with Satisfactory. I've put in like 230 hours into the game in like 2 months. So I think I've got more than my play out of it for a little bit. I've been mainlining Spider-Man Remastered on the PC, and holy freaking moly, that game is really fun. You feel like Spider-Man. You really do. They got the swinging mechanics down phenomenally. And throwback to the Arkham series of video games where they had a basic like rock paper scissors combat mechanic, and that's how it is in this game as well. Reasonably simple combat, but very satisfying.
Rock paper scissors. I've never really heard of anybody like call it that, but I guess it is kind of simple.
Yeah, well, it's that there's like certain move sets that are the effective one to use. So like a guy with a shield, you can't just punch him. You have to dodge and then you can punch. So it's like a break in their like regular mechanics. I heard it said once, and it's always like kind of stuck with me because it's reasonably simple. It's like Pokemon that is straight up just rock paper scissors. Like water beats earth, earth beats fire, fire beats earth. Like it's straightforward, simple enough. And then I did get Horizon Zero Dawn, the complete edition. I was watching Super Fast Tortoise play that, and I was like, that is a pretty good looking game. I bet that would be fun. Went on to that kingwin.com, got myself a tasty freaking deal. $13 out the door for that game. Freaking
not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Would love for that to be a
Wouldn't
sponsor.
mind a sponsor. I'm actually about to use Kingwin for a Windows 11 key. I'm in the process of building a computer.
How is it $20? Like it's legit.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it. I just wish that there were like more games on there. Like I want to get that.
Whoa! How shiny it is.
Oh, what is
it? 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. I'm in the process of building a computer for a friend of me and a friend of the channel.
Nice.
She was talking about how shitty her computer is. She was using an RX. What was it? An RX 450, I think, as a graphics card. RX.
That was even worse than what I was running.
It was like a 7-year-old graphics card. It was like 2017 is when it came out. Same thing with her computer. Her processor was the same. She was talking about it takes her. She said it was about 20 to 30 minutes for the computer to like boot up and her to be able to use it at a semi-okay pace.
Whoa!
Like, holy crap! And she was trying to game. She was trying to play Baldur's Gate 3 on that computer, by the way.
I mean, you can put a lot of stuff at ultra low settings, but I think that
what she was doing was I told her about NVIDIA's gaming, the cloud gaming, that service that they have.
Yeah,
it works really good for computers that are kind of bad, but she was able to play Baldur's Gate 3. It worked.
I think that that's one of the things that's going to, again, this is just kind of how technology is influencing the way that we play games. One of the video game review channels that I check out, one of the guys on there doesn't own a physical console in his living room. He just plays everything off of stream gaming on his like big ass TV. And I think that that's absolutely phenomenal. There are a couple of games I've played that way. Like Binding of Isaac. There's no reason that you should like have to install that game. Anything under like 5 or 10 gigs, it should just run on a server somewhere and just instantly load it up. I've seen stuff where you can like have a fancy hookup from your Xbox controller to your phone and you could just play Xbox games directly on your cell phone. I think you had to be part of like a pilot program, but I think that that's going to be the way that we shift to. It was poorly executed, but Stadia was a solid idea. Ooh.
Interesting.
Taking the stand on it. I think it was a good idea, poorly executed.
Yeah. I found the location of the emojis.
We are doing it live right here for you folks.
I'm hitting upload. I'm saving and publishing. So, any of the channel members, check to see if there's a new emoji. I don't know how long it takes to publish. Does it say? It just saved. I don't know. It should be live now. Well, let me know.
Oh yeah.
Do we have anything else on the docket? Oh, Lorcana. Interesting. So there's an interesting thing about Lorcana. Have you heard about the dumps that they've been doing? They've been doing Amazon dumps.
Yes. Like below distributor costs, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Which is just ridiculous. I mean, if they're on their 4th set now, 5th?
Yeah.
5th. Yeah, and
something like that.
It's just lost more and more steam as the sets keep rolling out. Again, as I had put in our notes, I think the overprinting or making it so available is kind of slowing down the actual growth of the game. There are certainly people playing it. That's not the issue, but there's no real collectability to it. And if you don't have that aspect to your game itself, I just don't know how you can continue to sell products. Like, it's just, as we're seeing now, they're just cutting each other off at the knees to get it out of the door.
Well, I mean, if they don't do it, they kind of get screwed with the scalpers, and then if they do it, they kind of kill their game. Maybe.
Let's see. Right now, pre-sale for Disney's Lorcana Shimmering Skies, a booster box of it. Pre-order again, 115. That's not great. That's
how much
not
are
what
they normally?
Most of the time the boxes were coming out, they were about 130, 140.
Okay.
So this is definitely cheaper than normal.
But that's cheaper for the fans. That's a good thing, right?
It is.
Do you think that maybe that they were able to like reduce the cost of printing because they've got like a better relation with the distributor and that's why it's cheaper?
I mean, one of the things is, again, it's not Disney that puts this product line out. It's Ravensburger. And they are a printing company. That's, how they've made their bread and butter over the years, is that they produce paper-based goods. So I was always surprised that the box prices were as high as they were previously. This seems like it sits at a more understandable price. If it were higher price, it just makes me think that people are interested in it. And I think this is a huge miss as far as this set goes. In Shimmering Skies, the realm of Lorcana holds a great festival to celebrate its recent victory over Ursula from the previous set. Highlights of the set include Wreck-It Ralph and Elsa, Anna, and Olaf from a recent adventure in the Enchanted Forest. So it's just how they do their expansions is they pick out a couple of different IPs that they have access to, and then they base their entire set around that. So I don't think Wreck-It Ralph is still something that it's not new enough to be interesting, and it's not old enough to be nostalgic. So
I don't even know what the fuck it is. I've never I feel like I've heard of the thing. I've definitely never watched it. Like when you talk about the Little Mermaid, Lion King, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
That sounds so much more familiar to me than any
Right.
of what
Yeah, even like
than Wreck-It
Tailspin
Ralph.
and DuckTales and stuff from like
Yeah,
the
DuckTales.
most
I don't
recent
know. Did
set.
they do anything Dalmatians? Is that Disney?
Yeah. Yeah.
They,
I think that was in like the very first set.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, Dalmatians. I know that one.
Mhm.
Did they do Beauty and the Beast yet? Yeah, I think they did. Yeah,
Yep.
because they had
Yep.
the. Okay, so yeah, I mean
L.
they've hit all the ones that I know.
They get some pretty big notes. Same thing with like Robin Hood and all that jazz. What up, TCG
Yeah.
dude?
Yo.
Hope you are as well as well. Hope you're
Hope you're
well
as
as
well. Hell yeah.
hope you're as well can be.
True. Be
Hope
good
you go
and
past
stuff.
well and into good.
Listen, if I'm just okay, I'm pretty happy. That could just be the minimum. Like, yeah, I'm just all right.
Yeah. Like if
I'm
I
happy
wake
with
up
that.
and it's just like, you're at 65% today. You know what? That's not bad. I remember my grandfather
Good
broke his
enough.
foot and didn't know about it until like 2 weeks later when he was at the cobblers. Like,
That seems to be like a fairly common thing. Like people like just like they're just like walking around like a sprained or a broken foot. They're just like,
yeah, it's like, do you just have? So his problem was because of like his unaddressed diabetes for decades. He couldn't feel his feet for like
yeah.
since the
That's
early
the problem that
2000s.
Bob has. He has that diabetic neuropathy where like it like destroys your nerves in your feet, and that can actually be like you said, like you can walk around with a broken foot and just not know, which is a
Yeah,
problem. That can be like deadly because like broken
yeah,
bones, you can have like bone marrow leak into your blood and just die or something like that.
yeah.
I'm
You
not a
get like
doctor, but
shards in your veins and all that stuff. It's for sure an issue. Actually, tangent. A kid I went to high school with had an inability to feel pain,
yeah,
and
that's a very
it's
uncommon thing, but it
super,
happens.
super rare. And I definitely thought it was just like a hokey thing,
Bullshit.
but
Yeah, it's
then
not.
a number of times, like we messed with him more than enough for it to be a legitimate thing. Um, and I talked to his mom one day about it when I was over there after church, back when I was a kid. Um, and she said it always worried her because he would get hurt and would never cry or anything. So like
Yep.
he had a bunch of like pretty bad scars because he'd get hurt and didn't know like how bad it was. Yeah,
I
it's like a
mean,
weird thing.
everybody has that to an extent. How many times have you cut yourself and not noticed? And you just see blood and
Yeah,
you're like, what the fuck?
yeah. Well, they're
Yeah,
also
it happens fairly common. Like even to me, and I definitely can
yeah.
feel pain.
There's also something to be said about how you're getting cut, like a paper cut. It is a very efficient way to cut. I mean, it's an efficient item to cut
It's very
with, but
thin.
yeah, exactly. That's why like razor blades, you can cut yourself and it's like, oh wow, I didn't even notice that happened. It happens all the time when I shave. Cut myself and then you're going to dry off afterwards, or you're putting on aftershave, and oh boy, that's when you find the hole in your face.
Man, what's shaving like? Can you imagine having to shave?
I am a fan of it. I love the feeling of a fresh, clean shave. That's why I shaved off my head. Was just I like the feeling of it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, for sure. When I
I'm
was
too lazy to shave and keep it looking good. So then it becomes this thing where it's like sometimes I'll shave and sometimes I won't. And then I'm like, sometimes I look good and sometimes I look shaggy as fuck. So now what I've done is now I've just embraced the laziness of just never shaving. It's great.
do you still do oil and comb it out and all that?
Sometimes
Hmm.
I definitely
I mean,
have
you
beard
could just
oil.
get a barber, go down, every week, go down Sunday mornings, make that like a
There
fun.
is one near me, and I paid like it was like 40 or $50 to like do like a haircut and a shave, and or like for me it was just like a beard like I don't even know what the hell to call it.
Trim. Yeah,
Shaping, a beard
shaving trim.
shaping. And the
Yeah.
guy that I got sucked for beards. He like
Uh,
never really worked with a guy's beard, didn't really know what the fuck he was doing with that. So like I would have to find a
just
guy
kept
that
rubbing your
actually
back
knows
the
how to
whole
deal with
time.
beards. Yeah. Because like I didn't feel like I got my money's worth, and it was definitely not worth the 40 or $50. And it took like 2 hours. The
Oh,
dude
dang.
was it was it was a lot of it was a really
Mm.
long time. He was like very OCD on a lot of things, which I guess is something you kind of want in your barber, but at the same time, holy dude, I want to go. I want to move on with my day, guy.
Yeah, when I go to my barber, it's the same thing every single time. It's a 3.5 medium. It's the same freaking thing. He told me I got my haircut the first time from him. He was like, this is what you want, right? I was like, this is exactly the haircut that I want. He's like, okay, cool. Do me a favor. Text me 3.5 medium. And that way, every time you come back, we'll just do the exact same haircut unless you want something else. I show up. It is 20 minutes maximum in and out of that place every freaking time. I sit down. It's just this guy's living room. And he's got like an actual barber set up in his living room. Show up. He's actively playing Xbox. And we just talk about video games. And while he's cutting my hair, and then I freaking boogie out. That's the bee's knees. I just
cut my own hair.
A hot razor shave. Oh, there's nothing like a straight razor hot shave.
Yeah, I just cut my own hair. Like I don't even. It's so easy to like just buzz your head.
I use a
3 on top, 2 on the sides, and then I just like clean up on the edges, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. It's so easy. I don't know.
I went as low as mine could go. No guard, just all the way down.
Yeah, I do that for the sides and for like the back. Like when I say sides, I mean like around the ears, anything past the like on the back of the neck. Just take that off.
Yeah, it was great. Honestly, great homely feel of just hanging out in this dude's place and getting a shape up.
I definitely understand. Well, okay, so here's the thing. There was a guy at my work that said that he legit actually went to his barber every week because he said that was just like a thing that he does. Like that's just like he gets his beard trimmed up and he gets his hair done and or hair like maintained. I don't know if the hair done is probably what he would describe it as, but every week is wild. My hair and my beard do not change enough for a week to matter. And he's like paying like $50 a week for his hair. $200.
If I could afford it, that would be a thing though. Like I would get a manicure pedicure every week. I'd get my hair cut every week. I'd get a massage.
It's so much time.
Bro, none of us have the money.
And you gotta leave your house.
Or do
why would I want to leave my house?
Marry a nail tech and just have her do all that stuff at home for you.
Sure, if I had like a wife that did it and she like enjoyed doing it and wanted to do it, then I'd be like, okay, sure. Or a girlfriend, whatever. Doesn't have to be a wife. I don't understand marriage.
Yeah, no.
Okay, never mind. I don't understand I understand being with somebody for the rest of your life, but I don't understand the license that you have to have in order to be considered married. That's
yeah.
I don't think the government needs to be involved in my welfare.
Marriage is my thing. Like the ceremony and the legal part of it.
I get that there's benefits. Like when I was with a girl for like 2 or 3 years, like there was the thoughts of potential marriage and whatnot like that. And I was just like, I don't want to be married to you. Like, I don't necessarily want to not be married to you. I don't want to be married to anybody. The concept of marriage having like, and also you always hear about all the crap that like happens with marriage. Like, you know, the wife leaves you and she takes half your stuff. And like, and if there's like a kid involved, you have to pay child support for the rest of your life. And all those things where I'm just like, I don't want to deal with any of that.
Shared custody. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got like the weird thing. My buddy, he's with this chick. She had 3 kids before they got together, and he just had a baby with her. But there's like shared rights for those first 3 kids. So he's got to like pick them up from their father's house from time to time. So it's like stepdad shows up to pick up the kids. Like, man, that's
awkward.
Yeah. Leave me the bottom half of the Black Lotus in the divorce. It's got the rules on it.
Can you imagine having to like rip up a Black Lotus?
No, I'll just
obviously you never would.
Just the left side. I'll take the front. You can have the back. We'll just peel it right down.
Split it in half.
Yeah. I think that's how King Solomon would have done it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so like I was saying before, been playing a decent amount of Steam games lately. Horizon Zero Dawn been super fun. Been thinking about doing a series on that. Same thing for Spider-Man. Those would be good.
Have you ever played The Last of Us?
I have not.
You need to play The Last of Us.
I've heard
100%.
it's really good. Like it comes
It's
up
a
all the time.
banger of a game. It's one of the best games on PlayStation, and I think now it's on PC. It got ported to PC.
Ah, freaking perfect. Do you know who did the port? That Nixies. They do great.
I know that when the port first came out, it was trash. And I know that it's been fixed since. I'm fairly certain.
The Last of Us Part 1, $33.23 off of Kingwin versus, let me load Steam.
But it is honestly, it's top 10 favorite games. And it's one of the few games that I actually care about the story, and the story is good, and I actually watch the cutscenes, and I don't just skip it. Most games I just skip.
Part 1, $59.99 versus $33.23. Well, that's an easy $26.
I think I see. Here's why it's so cheap on Kingwin. There was a promotion. If you bought an AMD graphics card, you got a free CD key. So people are selling their CD keys.
Yeah, like that's what I realized on like how all of these work is that's exactly it. Is that it was part of a bundle. Yeah, that's so smart.
It's great.
A buddy was I was talking with him about it because I was buying some stuff. They're like, dude, you're spending a bunch of money on games lately. And I was like, less than you think. And we got into talking about it. He's like, how is this legitimate? How is it that how are they providing the service? And I talked about it with him. And he was just like one of those, holy moly, of course, this all makes sense.
Yeah. Turns out you can get a lot of free things. And then imagine working for a company like Micro Center, for instance. Do you imagine how many keys they have left unsold? Can you imagine how much money they probably are just offloading on Kingwin? There's no way they aren't doing that. They probably get packets of these games that like they can't. What are they going to do with them? If the cards don't sell and if they don't sell enough of the product to get, like they have a bunch of these keys.
Black Myth Wukong is going to be ridiculously cheap on Kingwin in a few months.
Yeah, probably.
I got a copy of it with this.
But yeah, stuff like that is great. There's another thing that happens. So I play a lot of mobile games, and there's a website called Loot Bar, and you can order in-game currency. This is all legit. Like it's legit. Like there's no way you can get. It's not like a Diablo where you buy your like gold or whatever. This is like a legit. So mobile games sell their stuff in game is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So what they do, this is what Loot Bar does. So if I were to go on to the mobile game and I would go to the store and I would say I'll buy $100 pack, right? In the US dollar, that's $100. But if I am in China or Japan, my $100 is worth more in Japan. So what they're doing is you send them $100. You buy for instance, like Honkai Star Rail, for instance. That's a good one. You could do Honkai Star Rail, that one. So with Honkai Star Rail, because all you need is something called their UID tag, I can give anybody my UID tag, and if they wanted to, they can purchase something for me. That's just something that just happens on the actual website from the people that make Honkai Star Rail Holyverse.
Okay.
So if you look, the $100 pack, where's the so the $64.80, that the $100 pack, I can save $14. It's the $86, the $64.80 plus $1,600. So that pack there, if I were to buy that in game, it would be $100, but I can buy it from them for 84 or 86. And sometimes you get deals that are like 5% off or 10% off. It's great. You save yourself $15, and the way they do it is because I'm giving them $100, and then they're using somebody in Japan, and because my $100 is worth so much more, they're still making money, but then also saving me money. It's fantastic. They're using conversions, currency conversions. It's kind of money laundering if you think about it.
Well, that's part of my plan. Next time I go back overseas,
the money laundering,
gold and diamonds don't go through De Beers verifications. So when I was over there last time, I even noted how cheap the jewelry and stuff was. Then when I got back here, I verified and learned a lot more about it. But I'm definitely gonna ball out with some freaking gold chains and rings next time I go overseas, because you're able to come back
to resell or just to have.
to resell. I don't give a shit about jewelry.
I was gonna say
Dude, I don't
I
even
didn't
fucking
I didn't really
bobblehead.
peg you for a jewelry guy. So that's why I was curious. I'm definitely not.
Heavy set white guy from Connecticut. I need a small gold chain.
Listen, you listen to rap, so I thought maybe the rap
I
part of you
do.
was coming out. I don't know. Like I know that that's a
No,
common thing in rap is to like bling out and like 2 Chainz and 50 Cent.
50 Cent. Nah, man. Don't
Why
get me
wouldn't you
wrong.
want to be a
A
dollar?
Cuban link
Why would you
gold
want to be a half
chain.
dollar?
I would enjoy that as like a Halloween costume, but I would never
Uh-huh.
go out in public like that. I barely wear hats in public. I feel so
I
freaking
don't like
weird
hats.
anyways.
Yeah, hats are weird. I don't like hats. I don't like people that wear hats. Hat people are weird. Changed my mind.
I do have like one, two, three, four. I
I
got
don't own a single hat, like a baseball cap. I don't own a single one of those.
I think I have six or seven different like ball caps, and then like because I live in Vermont, I have like a bunch of like snow caps and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I got
Um,
one of those. I got like a beanie,
yeah.
but
But
that's a normal
so when
hat.
I was young, I had a really bad skin condition. It's now just a skin condition. But it
Uh-huh.
was really bad when I was a kid, so I couldn't wear hats. They would like freak me out and make me itch so much. Uh,
Oh.
yeah, so my cousin still calls me ski hat from time to time just to be a dick.
What a dick. That's fine.
Well, that's like our relationship. It's like you know, it's like two cats sharpening their claws with each other. Like he's by far the person I am meanest to in the whole world beside myself, and I think that that's exactly how he is with me. It's like we're very open with our anger.
I have psoriasis as my skin condition, and when I was younger, really I shouldn't even say young. Well, younger still works, but up until age like 27 or 28, I basically never wore shorts and didn't even own a pair of shorts because I was so self conscious about the psoriasis on my legs that I just always wore pants. And then I think as I got older and I just stopped giving a fuck. And I'm
Yeah,
like, I just don't want to be hot. Summers are hot, okay? It's like 100 degrees outside. I
yeah.
really can't be fucked to like, deal with that. So now I wear shorts and it's great, and I just stopped caring about it. I'm still a little self conscious about it because I don't think that ever really goes away. But
Yeah,
at the end
no,
of the
that
day,
that
there's not a ton I can do for it. I take medication for it, and I use like ointment to try to like keep it stop flaring up and stuff. But it is what it is. Those were the cards that I was dealt. You know what?
speaking
Out
of
of it, out of
cards you were
everything, so fun. It's pretty fun.
speaking of cards you were dealt,
Uh-huh.
make sure everybody, if you're interested in Commander raids, that you check out our Discord. We created a PvE multiplayer format for Magic the Gathering. So, if you're looking to jam some games, you can also do it single player. It's a great way to test out your decks. That's something I've done more than a few times.
I was thinking about something, and we'll have to like. I think this will be something Bob will be interested in. Maybe like a once a month play. We'll call it. I don't know. Play. I don't. Play date to me sounds a little like juvenile, but um, a
My
date,
watercolor background wasn't doing it for you.
a date that we can like set aside and play some Commander raids for a few hours with the members. That would be something that I would enjoy. I'd have to like see like what day works best for everybody, but I think that would be fun and hopefully jam some games.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Also, would get more games from like a little selfish, but I would get to play more Commander, and that sounds like a fantastic thing for me.
Yeah, if once a month we did like the 3-hour play session or some shit like that, that'll get us
Yeah,
2 pretty long games. If we're doing Commander raids, they're definitely faster than that.
I mean, also they're typically faster than that. We'd probably be able to crack them out in like
They're like
half hour
30
a
minutes.
piece.
Yeah.
Get some more games in. But that would be something that I think we should probably stick more, or not stick to, but like dedicate more to. I think
Mm.
I for one, I can't speak for you or Bob, but I've definitely like I'm doing so many things right now. I'm playing 3 mobile games and Path of Exile. Like I'm kind of like not burnt out, but like dedicated to other things at the moment, which is kind of how my brain works. It's like I haven't even like thought about Commander raids. Hell, even like building a Commander deck is like it's hard to like pull away from like playing Path of Exile or doing all the mobile games that I'm doing. Doing those every day is like I gotta like cut one, I think. I don't know what to cut. It's hard.
Yeah, this is some of the most torn I've heard you before. See, that's one of the good things with a lot of the games I'm playing right now is if I just keep at it with this pace, I'll just beat them. And it's like you get to a certain point, it's like, well, once you beat Horizon Zero Dawn, like, what do? You get to the max level and
Yeah.
you're done. You did all the content, you found all the stuff. I mean, Spider-Man, even he doesn't really want to be Spider-Man his whole life, you know?
Yeah, there's not much replayability. I know that there are. I don't know if Horizon Zero Dawn's like this, but there are games that have like alternate endings and like side stories you can
They've got a
do
new
that like
game
you don't
plus,
have to.
so it would be fun enough to do that. But even then, like, I just saw Red Dead Redemption 2. I can get a key for that for like $22. I don't have it on my PC and Xbox. We're at the end. I'm going to be a little bit straight. If you got kids, get them out of here. I'll be honest, Xbox fucked me. So I bought Red Dead on my Xbox, right?
Uh-huh.
It was great. That's just what you do when you're an Xbox player. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of your games will not transfer over. Even if you bought them on an Xbox, if you're playing it through the Xbox launcher on your computer, you don't have access to your library. So you have to buy them all over.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely shiesty move. Thumbs down. Not
Yeah,
a
they
fan.
just got me too. They I did the thing where if you buy Xbox what is it called? Xbox
Game
Live
Pass.
codes and then like upgrade them to your
Oh,
Game
yeah,
Pass.
yeah,
And then
yeah. They
I
limit you down.
had that for like a year, and apparently that just ended, and then they auto renewed me. So they got me. They got $15 for me, which is a little sad. I
Yeah.
canceled it, but like I didn't cancel it enough time. I'm sure I could get refunded if I like sent them a message. I don't use it right now, so like I don't need it.
Well, that's the thing is, now with even before my upgrading graphics card, I was pretty much only doing computer gaming. And at this point, I had my buddy over here and I was telling him about this. The only reason I still have my Xbox at this point is so that day one, when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, I can call into work sick and just play all fucking day. And he's like, oh, don't text me because I'm going to be sick at your apartment hanging out playing GTA 6 with you. He's like, I got 4 kids. There's no way I'm shooting a hookers.
Man, I haven't played Grand Theft Auto since Vice City.
Oh man, GTA 4, groundbreaking, phenomenal. And then GTA 5, like I just started another playthrough of it, but on the PC, it's absolutely freaking phenomenal. It's so easy to get sucked into it. GTA 5, you can play between 3 different characters, and that's like the shtick of it. Is that any point you can go between 3 different people and they all interact with each other throughout the story. So you're seeing like different chapters of everybody's lives. One of them is an absolutely crazy meth fueled psychopath and
Okay.
makes for lively gameplay. But I personally just had a distinct distaste for Trevor. But great writing, as always. Rockstar knows how to write a great story.
That's good.
Yeah,
I've
GTA
kind
5
of like
up there.
I don't know, strayed away from caring about stories in most games, but I'm not entirely sure why. I think my brain just doesn't care. I don't know, I
Some
just
of
want to
them
play
are
a
just
game.
some stories suck. Like right now, okay, back to it. I'm playing Satisfactory where there is no story. Like there isn't
It's
one.
it's very open ended.
No, they don't have a story in early access. They said that that's in 1.0. One of the biggest things that they're doing is there's going to be a story.
There's
Uh,
kind of a story if you think about it.
eh,
Like
yeah,
you're like stranded on this planet, and like you have to build a rocket to get off of it. Now you can make your own story of like why you're stranded on the planet and why you want to get off of it.
no, not even. It when you're in the drop pod, you work for a company called Fix It.
There you
You're
go.
not stranded. You were put there purposefully to be part of project assembly, and it never tells you what it is. You have a
Well, there
space
you go. There's
elevator.
the story. You
Uh,
just said it right there.
Yeah, right. And
I'm not
then
saying it's in depth, and I'm not saying there's a lot of it. I'm just saying that there is something.
like Spider-Man, I don't give a shit about that story. Like it's your typical Spider-Man. Like I gotta save Mary Jane Parker. I gotta stop Doc Ock. Like I don't give a shit. Where Horizon, that's very interesting. It's 300,000 years after the fall of humanity. It's like, oh, well, tell me more about these robot dinosaurs and the forgotten ones. Like, it's a driving story. I'm interested to watch the cutscenes.
The Last of Us. Once you play the game, you should watch the show as well.
Oh,
Banger
right.
of a
They,
show as
they made
well.
a television series out of it.
Honestly, one of the it's top 10 in both shows and game.
I
It's
heard it
like
was very good.
they did a really good job.
On both parts.
They actually make you care about the characters quite a lot. A lot of character development. Lots of enough action to make it worthy. There's the ups and downs, the killing off of characters that we've all grown to love and hate. You get attached to a character, but then they get ripped away. But I mean, just like if you've ever watched The Walking Dead,
Yeah, I
honestly,
that show.
better than The Walking Dead. Although The Walking Dead is still very good in the
My
first couple
problem with
seasons.
The Walking Dead was that it just ended up being like a drama. It wasn't even
Yeah,
so much about like
that's why I said the first couple seasons.
yeah.
Like when you first start watching, you're like, "Oh, this is a really good show," but then at a certain point, it becomes extremely repetitive. It's like, "Oh no, there's walkers coming near us. We have to deter them." "Oh no, there's walkers coming near us. We have to deter them." That just becomes like on repeat. Hey, we found a really good settlement place. We're back. Everything's normal again. Everything's gonna be great. We got walls. Oh no, there's a zombie horde coming. Oh no, we gotta deter them. Oh no, they're here. It's very repetitive, except for in the first couple seasons, you've got the scientist that like says that he has the cure, but you need to get him to a specific location, and then he can like save the world. And like you don't really like the guy, but like that's like an interesting concept. And then like everybody's trying to figure out what happened. Like all of that is like so dynamic, but then it becomes very watered down and boring.
Speaking
Even
of
though the
being
Negan
watered down
season
and
was
boring,
good.
we don't want that here. We want to keep this stuff nice and lively, which is why we try to keep to a tight 90 minutes. And unfortunately, we've kind of hit that marker, and we've got to get into another chat room because we do a live stream for our channel members. So if you're a channel member, you've already gotten that notification. We'll see you over there. Anything else before we close up on this one, Matt?
Stay spicy.
Stay spicy. Oh, I like that. Yeah, stay fresh. You've been awesome. I've been Pat. And really sorry
I'm
you
Matt.
couldn't buy the secret lair that you wanted.
It's okay. You can spend $150 and go get it from TCG Player.
Yeah.
Or if you just wait till it comes out, it'll be $30. I actually do think that it'll go down. Maybe not 30, but we'll see.
Right.
We'll talk more about it.
Take care, guys. See you next week. Or some of you really soon.